goes on, and I can name many of them. You understand what I mean? Mike Douglas. If you go almost every community, we had Oliver Sanderson. You go around, you had P.K. Williams in La Plaine. And we had Gertrude Roberts. We had so many people in Dominica. We had Venice Bellany. We had Masley Prosper. We had Paul Joseph. We had MacDonald Thomas. We had Mr. Samuel Carrett. We had so many. We had Augustine Scotland. We had so many people in Dominica who pioneered that movement, okay, for the thrust of local government and community participation and involvement. That has almost been decimated and it has almost dissipated.
But the question is why?
Well, we have transitioned. And so I think, and you hear now constituency. It is even more alarming, as you mentioned, before you would hear of village feasts. And the village feast was spearheaded by the local government, the village committee, the village improvement committee, the village organizing committee, with the parish priest and the parish at the time, where they would come together and organize the village feast, and they would use resources of the village to highlight the village, to highlight the best of the village, to bring forth the people of the village. And so the cultural groups of the village were involved. The people of the village were involved in ensuring that their village was highlighted. Today, it's all under a PAL rep. Okay, who spearheads. Now, Matt, as a specialist in events management, they'll tell you there are two key principles that you never involve in. When I taught event management at UWI, that is one of the, and it is part. If you study the science of events management, they tell you that you must never allow religion and politics to piggyback in events management. Why? Because community events are supposed to be people-oriented, people-driven, people-focused activities. When politicians get involved, what that implies is that you're going to have some people who are more involved, and there are others who will say, I am not getting involved because. As a result of which, we have found that many community feasts in Dominica has taken, while we have all this CWO, but the real essence of community feast has declined because we have people who decisively say, I'm not taking part in this and that because, and the decisions have been taken to say that person should not be involved.
Or the PAL rep is sponsoring the event.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So that is thing. Now, before money would be given by government to the local government of the village council, to be utilized for the celebration of their feasts. Okay? So now chairmen are not involved, village councils are not involved, leading community people are not involved, church is not involved. Now shame and behold to the Catholic Church, to the Bishop of Roseau, to the priest of Dominica, to the lay associates in the Catholic Church who are Lord. Shame on them. And I'm saying so as a Catholic, shame on them.
Because they have allowed it to happen, Simeon. They have allowed
and
it.
I know they're going to carry my name, but shame on them because they ought to know better. The Catechism of the Catholic Church defies that. The liturgical norms of the Catholic Church defies that. Okay, so the Catholic Church has gone against its own catechism, its own norms, and its own practices by allowing that to happen. Shame on them. Okay, let's put it that way. I'm not afraid to say it. Now, Matt, we have to see that that's one thing. Now, from a analytical perspective, as I said yesterday, sometimes one can say that perhaps unity might be seen as utopian. You will never really have full unity because it may be marked by economic, cultural, and political divisions. However, Matt, as I alluded for, there are several societies that have proven that when social cohesion is strengthened, okay, the benefits are immense. One, you have reduced conflict. Two, you have economic prosperity. Three, you have political stability. And four, you have collective well-being. People feel good about themselves. So that is why we have to strive to unity in what we do. Now, I know that there are many initiatives that have transformed many societies into turning them into dynamic visions for what you would term in social cohesion terms, guardians of life. In other words, things where humanity acts together as an interconnected whole to preserve consciousness and evolve nature. You understand what I'm saying? And by that I mean, you through the essentials of unity, um, you will get social cohesion. So a fragmented society will generate tension and instability. Any fragmented society will generate tension and instability. You will have greater inequalities, you will have cultural divisions, and the social and political rifts will deepen. You will have lack of dialogue. It fuels mistrust and you create conflict within communities. Now, on the other hand, what does unity do? Unity fosters greater solidarity. Citizens collaborate towards a common goal. Okay? You have better governance, so you have less polarization. I for them, that one for us, that one not for us, this one not for us, Mr. Not one of us kind of language. Have a more collective decision making where everybody is seen to be part and parcel of the process of advancing the common good. And also, Matt, one of the things we don't understand about that, we have a greater and a more stable economy because trust and cooperation will drive development. Look at what happened to Lindomat. When you remember this statement was made about Lindomat and what happened to Lindomat. So we have to understand that lack of unity can undermine a stable economy. Now, who suffers? The people. I'm reading from a post by Nelson Mandela on my wall in my office in front of me. And it says, what unites us is stronger than what divides us. Okay? And so we need to understand that. There's so much in Dominica, Matt, that unites us as a people. Right? We have our cultural norms and practices. We have our heritage traditions. Look at what happens during independence in Dominica and the Creole Festival time. Look at what happens during Carnival time. Okay? We have a strong history in Dominica of, as I said, Kootenai before. Our communities are close-knit and close. Look at Granby, look at Paybush, look at Portsmouth, look at St. Joseph, look at La Plaine, look at Talibishi. Look at Point Michel, Matt. That's a strongly knit community. You know that, right? Because, I mean, if you go in Point Michel and you can sense, Matt, the community cohesion that takes place there. Okay.
But I don't think it's the same right now. I don't think I have to be objective. I don't think it's the same again. The political interference at this time is at another level. Yeah.
We have had a history of that. That's what I'm saying. We have had a history of that, and I think I am very concerned that Dominica has reached the stage we have. Matt, if you listen to the tone and the tenor of Dominica today, let us put aside politics. We find that there is deeper and deeper religious division because you hear that. Okay, I'm very involved in church and community and ecumenism, so we get that sense. You listen to our musical, and I say thank God that we see some movement of our bouillon bands and our bouillon artists to coming together. There's greater collaboration now. But Matt, can you remember the level of rift and antagonism that existed among our bouillon artists? And even today, among some of our bands, there is still strong, rife, and internal division. Just listen to what has happened to WCK. Listen to the people who try to banter. When you watch on the radio, Signal ban against Triple K ban against this ban about that ban, and listen to the Calypso season. Listen to the tone and the tenor of what happens after every Calypso competition. Listen to the problems of the Football Association. Listen to some time ago of the Basketball Association, the Athletics Association, almost the other day, the Cricket Association. So organizations and entities and associations that are supposed to be bringing people together are very polarized. Okay? Look at how long it has taken the trade union movement to come together and form a Dominica trade union movement. Although between 1976 and 79, they were always coming together to the extent that they over.
I think, and somebody just brought it to my attention, Simeon. Hold on. I think Lindo Park or Lindomat? Lindo Park you're talking about, right? Can you make a reference to Lindomat? I think you're talking about Lindo Park.
Oh, Lindo Park.
Yes,
You understand what I'm telling you? Yes, we will in Lindo Park. Yes, look at all those organizations, and look at how the trade union movement were able to come together in 1979 to overthrow Patrick John. But it took them 40 years to form a Dominica Trade Union Congress when trade unions are basically dead. WOW is almost dead. DAO is almost dead. National Local Union is always dead. Dominica, what do you call it? DPSU is almost like as if it's a lame duck, because the virality of the CSC and the Public Service Union in the 70s today is nothing. DAT is just their in abeyance.
Why do you think the PSU, Public Service Union, has become that way, though? It's not as vibrant as it used to be.
Well, remember, it was compromised in the first place in the 70s and early 80s for the benefit of the then trade union leader, who used his political whims and fancies and drove the public servants of Dominica more towards political engagement than improvement. And with not much legacy of, because look at the state of the salary of public servants. 3 minus 0, it has been negotiated for them. When before they used to get 120% and 60% and 70% and back pay and all those kind of things. Look at that. And remember when the nurses in 1976 went on strike and got 120% increase. In March of 1976, when Isaiah Thomas was the Ministry of Health, so much so that the pressure was so much on him, he died suddenly in March 1976. Just think of all of that. But Matt, we don't want to maybe go back, but we need to focus on the unity that exists. So I think now, politically speaking, I think when you look at the function of government, when you look at the objective of government and what government is supposed to do, I think this current government, for all intents and purposes, has been the main axis and the hub and the pivot upon which we have trajectorized into a state of disunity in Dominica. Because when you look at almost every project of this government, it has been exclusively given to supporters of the Dominican Labour Party. And so I think we have a government that has lost an understanding of its core purpose of what government is, the fundamental reason why government exists, in the concept of social contract and social construct, where citizens trade freedoms for some collective protection and stability. Because at election times, we go to the polls, we make a decision that we are surrendering our freedom and we place it into the hands of a group of people to govern over us, which we hope will do the 4 main things that governments are supposed to do. 1, maintain order, okay, where you have a well-established justice and legal system, which is expected to resolve conflicts peacefully and discourage wrongdoing. I'm going to repeat that, to discourage wrongdoing, where we are supposed to have a government that is supposed to provide us with national security, which means our nation's sovereignty will be protected and its people from other kind of foreign forces and diplomacy. And we see that our foreign relations has been one that has exposed us to the world out there, where our national safety and security is threatened because we have so many passports out there, we don't know who has them, and we don't know what Dominica means on the international scheme anymore, where you elect a government to protect human rights by ensuring that your basic human rights and liberties, such as your freedom of speech, are respected. In Dominica, this is very much disrespected. You cannot even demonstrate. You cannot have a political meeting. You cannot speak against the government before people abuse you on Facebook and curse you up, and you're being targeted, and you're being this and that, and you're being denied a fair share of the country's resources. And also to promote general welfare, which means that you foster the well-being of the population and you address the social and the economic disparities that are there in the country. So the question we have to ask is the government we have in power today ensuring those things that is for every Dominican to answer. That is for every Dominican to answer. Now, how does the government do that? The government does that through its essential functions. And when I did public service management, through no fault of mine, I was asked to do it. I was sent by the government to do it. The government has certain functions. As I said, it's law and order. So you create a criminal laws against criminality, and we settle disputes, where public services are rendered to the people, where you provide like roads, proper education, proper health, proper emergency services. Look at the question marks about those things, where there's proper economic management, so you regulate and prevent certain monopolies, and you manage your finances of the country, and you use fiscal policies to ensure stability and growth. Okay, where you try to focus on on infrastructure, because the backbone of any society is building and maintenance, and that includes things like making sure that you have proper water system, proper road networks, proper transportation, proper electricity, and those things. Hats off to the government. We know they have done a lot in road building, and they have done a lot in the hydro plant. We have the international airport being done. We have seen improvement in the water system. So you can give them some credit for that in terms of infrastructure. We have a lot of houses, but still, Matt, look at who has gotten the houses. The houses were not done through the Ministry of Housing or the Housing Development Corporation as in the 1970s, where everybody, whether or not they supported the Labour Party government, got a house. Today, it's not like that. Who decides who gets a house? So it's the parliament who decides which feeder. Look at the Salisbury. Have you been to the Salisbury feeder road in Labour Heights to see the state of that road? But that doesn't mean that they have not taken care of other roads, etc.
But it's a clear policy. You're better off dead than red than dead.
So the government is supposed to collect taxes for the public good and make sure that's this and to protect the vulnerable. But again, even in the protection of the vulnerable, yes, we care, the NEP, etc. Look at it's not equitable. There's no equality in the distribution of the resources or who is involved or who obtains or who benefits from it. So yes, they are doing those things. But to what extent is that fostering unity and togetherness? And then, Matt, what has come to the fore recently is environmental protection, where the government would regulate to protect the resources and ensure sustainability. Look at what's happening in Dewash. So we have to think and we have to ask ourselves, given those things, the level of disunity that exists together. Now, how much more better it would be if the government would take a thrust and a drive to ensure, okay, in those areas of national development, let us work towards the common good. Now, Matt, it's one thing to criticize the government, but look at the opposition. And I speak sometimes, and I get a lot of blows from people. A good friend of mine told me the other day that somebody in the opposition said they are fed up with Simeon, and I got that from a reliable source. But if I'm to go on the radio and I'm to speak about good governance, I'm not only there to criticize Roosevelt Skerrit and the Labour Party government, because why should I be criticized by the opposition? I have never criticized anybody in the opposition publicly. I have never criticized any minister of government personally. I criticize public governance. I pay attention to common good. I pay attention to where the government has failed. This is what I have just done a while ago. And I have just done it because when you look at the state of youth in Dominica, it is a sad. When you look at the state of health, when you look at the state of education in Dominica, I think the government has failed miserably. And we have a very divided country. And I posit very strongly that the level of division in Dominica is purely based on the government's intervention. Where in every sporting organization, they try to put their people, even on church and parish councils, on credit unions, in village councils, in almost every civic organization, the government has put their agents there to spy on and to promote the objective of the party in power. That is not good. But on the other hand,
and I'm even being told, and it's been said that even in the electoral offices, the people chosen are 90% Labour rights.
Matt, let me tell you something. You see, on that point, I have heard that every government has done it.
You think every government?
Patrick John has done it. Eugenia Charles did it. Edison James did it. This Labour Party has done. However, Matt, the difference is.
But is it right though?
No, Matt. Let me tell you, any Dominican you take to be a returning officer, an electoral officer, or whatever, will have a political persuasion. Will have a political persuasion. I can call out her name for you in Calabishi, because I know if I call out her name in Calabishi, she would, Ali Matthew, she's a Porto Labourite, my cousin. But I cannot say anything bad about Ali Matthew in her, and she wouldn't be bad at me in her transactions as a returning officer. That lady worked impeccably. I know several people I have known Freedomites who have been involved in things. And so I know those people, and they have worked tremendously well. Right? What is his name? That Mr. John. Evans John was Chief Elections Officer, and he was a photo freedomite. Same as his wife, Irene. These are my friends, and I can call their name without any equivocy because I'm saying no. But these people perform When I lived and I used to walk down Bath Road, there was no two stronger freedomans than Irene John and Clem John. He became Chief Elections Officer. Okay, and that man worked impeccably well as Chief Elections Officer. So I am not one to lead about what I think people have to understand is that once they take up a responsibility of state and governance, they're supposed to be impartial or appear to be impartial. The difference nowadays is that I have understood and I have reliable proof of it is that one, people today that this government have put in place are thinking that they are working for the leader of the Labour Party and the Dominican Labour Party. They don't understand their oath to the Constitution. They don't understand their commitment to good governance. There are people before who have been Chief Elections Officer. My father was Chief Elections Officer. Okay? And the person followed him, Mr. Pond, was Chief Elections Officer. These people had their political persuasions, but I cannot remember them. Mark, do you know, let me tell you a short story. Do you know that in 1975, when my father was Chief Elections Officer, two Freedomites on Bath Road, one lady had a shop, and the other lady was from Fort Ney. I'm not going to call their name. Photo Freedomite. They were always in each other's shop. Those people went to Eugenia Church and said, my father had electoral boxes at his home. Do you know that 6 policemen came to our home in March? The election was on the 24th of March. They came to our home on the 21st of March, 1975, and searched our entire house looking for election boxes. My father, we all had to go on the porch. They came without announcing, and we all had to subject ourselves to that level of integrity and transparency because of a complaint by 2 photo freedomites, 2 red-skinned ladies. I'm not going to call their name. Okay? Time has come eventually where I have become very good friends of those people. And do you know, one of those ladies in Bath Road afterwards apologized to my father, okay, and became very good friends of my very parents to the extent that they used to send bread to our home free of charge in the morning. That is the kind of climate that exists. And I'm giving you a story. I mean, I'm just sharing that with you. So what I'm saying, Matt, irrespective of whether people are laborites or workers or whatever, I am not going to lay claim to the fact that because people will have their party political persuasions. They have been Chief Elections Officer, who have been Freedomites, who have been Labour, who have been maybe UWP, I'm not sure. Okay? Because I hear a lot of clamoring for the return of Ian Anthony, a very good friend of mine. That is nonsense. That is ridiculous because his time has passed for him to retire, and I am totally against bringing back people who are. And the opposition in Dominica has spoken out against it. They have spoken out tremendously about bringing back people who have retired into the public service. So why they want that former Chief Elections Officer when his time comes to retire? His time comes to retire. If they want to use him as a consultant, go ahead and use him as a consultant. Tap on his knowledge and resources, and the government is free to appoint another Chief Elections Officer. What must happen is whoever holds the post of Chief Elections Officer, whoever holds the post of have to perform with integrity, with impartiality, above board, with the right level of how you call it, like impartiality, to ensure that they are serving the people of Dominica and not the leader of the Dominica Labour Party, the Prime Minister, or the Labour Party of Dominica, or the Labour Party candidates. They have, because they are governed by the law of the land. And so that is okay. Now, if they are doing it, shame on them. If they are doing it, they have to be held accountable. If they are doing it, they have to search their consciences. If they are doing it, they have to know that sooner or later, if a government changes, they may be brought before the law. That's going to affect their legacy. That's going to affect their integrity. That's going to affect their standing in the communities. Because if you are unfair in any village, in any community, later on you're going to have to deal with the community. Do you want to be at odds with your neighbors and friends and family members? No. And so, Matt, I would not go in that thing. And so, therefore, Matt, division also exists among the opposition. No, that is shameful. That is disgraceful. Why is it disgraceful? Because if you are...
Oh, why has it become that way, Simeon? Why has the opposition become divided?
Matt.
Let's hit the nail on the head.
Matt, let us not be naive. Every political organization in Dominica, in the world, has had internal strife. Look at it globally. Winston Churchill lost his election in England because of internal strife with himself and his deputy. He came back to win the next. There was a lot of division. That's how he lost. The great Winston Churchill of the great Conservative Party in England oversaw deep division within the ranks of his party at the time. You remember Margaret Thatcher, where she was challenged as a leader of the by Michael Heseltine and Michael Hurd, a chancellor and a deputy prime minister at the delegates convention in Brighton in 1976. All right, challenge her at the delegates convention. Challenge her at the delegates convention. Michael Heseltine was the minister of defense and her deputy prime minister. Douglas Hurd was her chancellor. They challenged her for the leadership. And you may remember that Brighton bombing. That's when she was bombed. Did she? No, she brought them in. They continued as Minister of Defense and he continued as Chancellor until they fought her when she had to resign prematurely. Let's not forget that. We had Pierre Trudeau, who lost his election again because of internal strife within his party in Canada. Look at the United States election when they go through their primaries. From Kennedy to, Trump. Every time there's a primary, all the candidates challenge each other in debate. Historically, Matt, look at what has done. Go back to John Kennedy. His fiercest opponent for leadership of the Democratic Party in America was Lyndon Baines Johnson. When he became the nominee for the Democratic Party, whom did he choose as his vice presidential candidate? The very same Lyndon Baines Johnson. Look at Ronald Reagan. When Ronald Reagan was running for presidency of the United States, who was his fiercest opponent? George H.W. Bush. To the extent that when they had the final debate, you remember Reagan pulled the mic from George Bush and said, I'm paying for that mic. When he won the nomination, whom did he make his deputy leader? George H.W. Bush. Look at Bill Clinton. When Bill Clinton went up, who was his fiercest opponent? Al Gore. Whom did he make his vice president? Al Gore. Look at Obama and Hillary Clinton. Look at all the things when Hillary Clinton says he was a just come, he was incompetent, he was this, he was that. What did he make her? Secretary of State, and she became and is still one of his biggest champions. Okay? Look at Biden. Remember the first debate between Biden and who gave Biden the worst shangalang at his first debate? Kamala Harris. She called him racist. She said he was the reason for Pastor. What did he make her? His vice president. So there is historical antecedents and precedents.
But do you think we can rise to that level in Dominica, Simeon? Let's be objective.
We have the potential, Matt, because it has happened in the past. Eugenia Charles had her opponents within the Freedom Party. She had. You think? Go and ask any Freedomites. Go and don't ask me. I was not inside of.
Are you there?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, was Freedom Party. I think Edison James is known to have had his underminings when he was Prime Minister. Look at Patrick John in 1976 at in Salibier. In August 1976. Look at it. Who were the three people who while he was in Barbados negotiating for the Bafeset housing scheme at the CDB? Who were the three people who almost tried to unseat him as leader of the Dominican Labour Party? Michael Bless, Eustace Francis, and Oliver Serafin. It is written in Mr. Christian's book, Get Crashing into the Unknown. It is there. It is documented. That is something I've verified with Mr. Christian. What the party didn't the Labour Party. So what I'm saying is every political party has internal strife.
But it appears, and we have to be objective about that, Simeon, that the leadership of the United Workers' Party, I mean, there's no secret. There's a big division there. One side is supporting another side, and there seems to be a lot of friction, and there's not a coming together still at this stage, and we have elections just months away.
That is healthy, and that is good for leadership, and I'll tell you why. For anyone to be a true leader, they have to be tried and tested and proven. The best place to be tried and tested and proven is within your own ranks. So when you are tried and tested and proven within your own ranks, it is your responsibility to do the overreach more than everybody else. It is your responsibility to do outreach more than anybody else. It is your responsibility to extend the olive branch more than it is your responsibility to do the backroom diplomacy and the coffee table diplomacy. Look at the amount of people on the UWP who attacked Skerrit. What did Skerrit do? He brought them into the Dominican Labour Party government. So he has that negotiation techniques of arm twisting, the carrot and the stick. You have to be formidable. You have to have that magnanimity. You have to have that formidability to use those difficult and challenging circumstances and situations as a political leader to see how you are best able through diplomacy, through strategy, through backhand and maybe not be you alone dealings, whatever, negotiations, whatever, without avoiding people and rise to the occasion of dealing with your challenges. Because, Matt, when you become Prime Minister of the country, you're going to have to deal with greater and bigger and more formidable issues.
Let me give you a perfect example. I'm going to run away from the issue. All right. So we had the election there of the United Workers' Party some time ago, same last year. You had Mr. Thompson Fontaine elected as leader, and nominee Pastor Randy Rodney was brought in as, maybe the favorite choice to be his deputy. He stepped down. Do you think it was the right decision at this time? Don't you think he being part of that party would have made it greater?
Yeah, well, unity is always strength. More hands on deck is always the best thing. But people have to know their consciences. It's better to say, okay, I am not getting involved than to be told you cannot be involved. It's better. One has to be honest. If you feel, and let's face it, man, is Thompson Rodney, Clement Masley, who again, Delwood Paris, the only people who can help UWP?
No.
Are they the only people? And perhaps, and there are other people out there that perhaps with the strength, with the knowledge, with the resources, with the ability, with the strategic mindset, with the political savviness to say, well, okay, can we go to them? Why must we cry and mourn over people who don't want to get involved when there are hundreds of people out there who can be roped in? And on a second level, remember, you have to apply the principle of strengthening unity. Matt, that is something that I think that is lacking in the opposition. What are these principles? You have to build a unifying and collective narrative. You have to promote a shared.
Are you there?
Shame a million times on you for throwing their dirty linen in the public. You find Labour Party doing that?
Nope.
You think the Labour Party perfect inside? Shame on them. Shame on whoever is in the UWP that is going out there and throwing their dirty linen in the public. It means they are more divisive than unifying. Shame on them, and they can come after me if they want. Shame on them. You cannot be supporting Thompson Fontaine or Edison James or Leonard Clinton or Delbert Paris or Clement. Give me some money so much that you're not seeing the greater good of the unity of the UWP. And most of all, the salvation of Dominica. Dominica needs to be saved. These people are just, if they drop dead tomorrow, if Thompson drop dead tomorrow, you mean the UWP die? Huh? If he gets a bigger job tomorrow in the United Nations for, say, $20,000 a month, $40,000, and he wants to go, and he say he's taking that and leaving that, what happens? UWP dies then. That is nonsense. That is nonsense. And so the UWP have their worst enemy, their greatest enemies of their own good. But they're talking about me when I criticize. You think I don't know I get in texts about what they're saying about me? But that doesn't mean I'm going to criticize the government less, or that doesn't mean I'm going to be less critical of them anymore.
I'm just getting one who's saying, man, I fed up with Simeon.
Well, they can be fed up with me if they want. Once God is not fed up with me. Once God is not fed up with me, that's all I'm at. Human beings can be fed up with me, and I can be the last soldier on the face of the earth. I don't care who fed up with Simeon. Let them be fed up with him, but I'm speaking the truth. It is shameful what is happening in the opposition party. Not the UWP, in the opposition party. You know why? Because they are the alternative government. The people of Dominica are waiting for them to be rescued. The people of Dominica are waiting for economic revival. The youth of Dominica are waiting for salvation and employment. Okay? The women of Dominica are looking for liberation. The farmers of Dominica are looking for better life. The musicians are waiting for a better life. The cultural enthusiasts are waiting for a better life. The young people living school in Dominica are living in jobs. The professionals in Dominica are looking for a better life. Dominica is hoping for our image to be restored, and all you, they're fighting with each other when all you should be channeling and implementing those things instead. That's what I'm saying, So, Matt, what I'm saying is The UWP, and that is the biggest mistake. They are not building that collective narrative where their shared vision transcends their differences, because everybody has their philosophy, everybody has their policy, everybody has their principles in life. They can never be all the same. The philosophies, principles, and practices of Thompson Fontaine might be different from them. They're good
So
parents.
you think before interrupting you, you think that my friend Dr. Thompson Fontaine should be the one doing the knocking and basically trying to persuade the others to come on his side.
He is the leader. Heavy is who his head wears the crown. He has to try 100 times. If Scary doesn't give up, You think Scary giving up on going for one Labour, right? You think, no, he's the leader. I'm not saying that they are right to oppose him. No. Anybody who denies the UWP their support, their unwavering commitment, not changing themselves, and may not be thinking in the best interest of Dominica. But he's the leader. When you, as Mark, let me tell you something. If I were to be leader of UWP tomorrow, I knocking on my enemies, right? I tell them, let's go to lunch at Fort Young.
Okay.
I tell their whole family, let's go by the river and have a picnic. I telling them that. And whether or not, and that is the nature of my personality. I like to approach my enemies. And they don't have to become my friends, but once we can work together. Matter, I've worked with people who don't like. I'm a member of the Catholic Church. There are people who go to the bishop and tell the bishop I should be involved in the Catholic Church. There are people who go and tell Father Karam this and that and this and that. And you think I say no? I participated in my church self, and I sit in the committee with someone. I'm on the Dominica Christian Council. There's somebody on the Christian Council who doesn't like me, but I go to Christian Council meetings anyway because I'm looking for the better good of the kingdom of God and the Catholic Church in Dominica. I do that with my friend. You have to be my friend to work with me. We can find a common ground. We can find something common objective to work on, and we know what the common objective is now. So we have to put our personalities and our differences aside and say, okay, I know we don't agree. I know we're not friends. I know you don't support me. I know whatever. However, would you? And that's what you have to be able to do.
So what advice would you have at this stage, as we speak, Simeon Joseph, to Dr. Fontaine to bring the party together? Because as we said, we almost approaching an election. It's almost imminent.
That is, Matt, that is the problem we have. Everything cannot rest on the shoulders of Dr. Fontaine. He is the political leader of a political party. There's an executive of the party. And you know what we have to do, Matt? We have to transition from Roosevelt's Kerry Talon doing everything to government. And the only way that begins with the opposition is now. It cannot be Dr. Thompson Fontaine, the great international alone. He alone cannot save Dominica. He alone cannot make Dominica here. So when you talk about Dr. Fontaine, I have nothing against him personally. But I'm saying is that why are we putting so much onus and emphasis on one man when we know one man cannot do it? Okay? So it has to be the party. It has to be the party. You have to communicate better. You have to sit down and strategize. The leadership and the executive of the party, the president, the vice president, the secretary, the assistant secretary, treasurer, they have to decide, okay, when they sit down, put their backside around a table, go somewhere and strategize. Decide how you are approaching the politics. Whether or not election is next month or this one, when you come together and you do have strategy. If you're going to win an election.
Do you think they're doing enough work on the ground?
The UWP has been united since under Eddie Smith and everybody. They win an election now. So what hell unity can cause you to win an election? No! It has you have to Matt. There are principles that strengthen unity, as I was saying. You have to build a unifying collective narrative. So you have to share a vision that transcends the differences. You have to do citizen-led projects. You have to unify your social movements. You have to unify your ecological, in other words, everything around you. You have to unify those movements. So you have to you have to unify your citizen-led projects. Where is their youth arm? Where is their women arm? Where is their men arm? Where are their village constituency branch association? Where is their where is the approach in terms of the ecological movement, to the sports department, to the cultural arena, to the musician? Where is the outreach to those people? Where is the outreach to those people? What about their social movements? How involved are they in the communities of church community? You have to be able to do that. That's clarifying your united message. You also have to encourage dialogue and mediation. And that means you have to have an open discussion where spaces help ease tensions and promote mutual understanding. And the examples of that, you have to have conferences and debates among yourselves whereby you can have that dialogue and mediation. Is that happening? And then you have to develop an education-based and cooperation unity approach. What that has to do is, as a party, they have to introduce programs that value mutual support and collective awareness. You cannot be sitting on there crying, scary, labor, while you sit down there and you have to ask yourself, what are your collaborative and competitive programs? Where is your national domino program? Where is your national cricket program? Where is your national football competition? Where is your national this? Where is it? Where is it? Nobody, you don't have to build roads, you don't have to fix hospitals, you don't have to give scholarships, because these are things you do when you get into government. But you don't have to build schools. You don't have to do those things there. You don't have to sell. You don't have to start hotels. That is something you do in government. But in the meantime, what are the educational things that you have developed and the cooperation and unity initiatives that you have, where you build mutual support, collective awareness, where you have programs that promote collaboration and competition, so that people see you. People build confidence in you. People like what you do. You're involved with people. They see you on a different level. And where are those things? That's what a party in opposition does. And when they transition to government, the party in opposition takes that up because they want to regain power. You cannot use the narrative of the 2000s or the 1979. You cannot use that narrative. You know why? Because these are dead narratives. This business of demonstrating and accusing and those kind of things, they won't work. Because the Labour Party government has mastered the act of sharing the corruption spoils with everybody. And you do not know how far and wide and deep this Labour Party network is. They have their tentacles and their octopus things everywhere. In banks, in churches, in schools, in trade unions, in everything. They are well networked. Every time somebody dies, they want to put their name in a death announcement. And people who are portal workers taking the money, but they're criticizing each other because I plan funerals. They taking the money, the power rep come in and help you. Oh, yes, power rep. And they want the power rep them in the death announcement. The same workers, people are criticizing that.
As their best friends, too.
You understand what I'm telling you, man? So that is it. So I mean, you have to be very I want Dominica to be free, where we have a certain level of unity as a force for our harmonious future. Dominica needs to move forward, and we need to move forward harmoniously. We must no longer be seen as Labourite and UWPite. We must no longer be seen as Catholic and 70s. We must no longer be seen as Jean Guabe versus Jean whatever. We cannot continue like that.
What's your thoughts on the opposition parties coming together in one force? Your thoughts?
Well, coming together has to be driven by philosophy. Coming together has to be driven by principles. Practices don't matter. The practice is coming together. But when you come together as a practice, are your philosophies aligned? Are your principles aligned? If your philosophies and your principles are not aligned, when you get into government, you're going to fragment. You're going to fall apart. Coalitions don't work anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. And so if you have, my problem with that is, if you haven't got the strength as a political party to run an election and to prove to the people of any country that you have the strength, you have the ability to run an election and win it, you might as well not be in government. Because it's not going to serve the people well. Okay? And so why do you trade off constituencies? Why do you want to say, well, okay, you run there? No, it means therefore you are admitting defeat. You are saying you don't have the potential and the ability and the wherewithal to win an election. You have to prove to people that you can. And what if they have a coalition together and they are weaker as a coalition than they are stronger? Because unity is strength, unity is weakness. What is the strength in the UWP and the strength in the opposition? Is the UWP and the Freedom Party philosophically aligned or principally aligned? Is the UWP and what is his name? The new one on the scene. What's his name again?
UPP.
Philosophically aligned. I doubt, because that is somebody. If Joshua Francis was so philosophically aligned with the UWP, he would go back to the UWP. And if they tell him no, forget about it, because the greater good is done. You don't confuse the population of Jamaica. You don't divide the voters anymore.
So you will advise the UWP to take in Joshua Francis this time?
What's that?
Would you advise, say, the United Workers' Party to welcome Joshua Francis back in the fold?
But that is just a practical suggestion. After that, what? I asked a specific question. I don't think you were listening to me. Is Joshua Francis' philosophy aligned with that? Is the DUPP philosophy aligned with that of the United Workers' Party? Is it?
But he was part of the United Workers' Party, was he?
Yeah, but Joshua Francis being part of it, he's just a person. He's not a leader of a party. What is the philosophical orientation, position, direction of the DUPP? Is it like, because when they come together, they're going to clash. They're going to say, we don't believe in that, we don't believe in that, government going to fall. What are the principles of the DUPP versus that of the United Workers' Party? Are they aligned? It's not just two people coming together. It's not just two people coming together. Because there are people who marry, go before God for an altar and marry. And behind doors is they say mama defe. They find out after 5, 10, 15 years of marriage that they were never supposed to be married in the first place. So it's not people coming together. Relationships are not just based on a physical encounter. It's based on having the same vision. It's based on having the objective. It's based on having the same principles. It's based on having the same foundation. What is the foundation of the DUPP versus why was the DUPP formed? Was the DUPP formed as a means of foundation? Because
the UPP, yes.
Why were they formed? If they were formed because they were part of the United Workers, because they could not be formed apart, then that is a weak foundation. We know the foundation of the Dominica Labour Party where it came from. We know the foundation of the Dominica Freedom Party where it came from. We know the foundation of the United Workers Party. It came from the people, grassroots concern. Mr. Libla founded the Labour Party because he wanted to liberate the masses and the rural people of Dominica. He wanted social transformation based on where he saw his people. The Dominica Freedom Party was formed in 1971 when they felt the rights of the people were being threatened, when the laws of Dominica, which were being passed at the time, did not fall in line with the expectations for freedom and they formed the Dominica Freedom Party. The United Workers' Party was formed because in the time of the Freedom Party, people were living in fear, and they felt that the people of Dominica needed a civil labor. And that is how it was formed, because it was freedomites and laborites that come together to form the UWP, Because if you remember the Freedom Party from the 80s, my God, Viva Mama Eugenia, that strong iron woman, etc., was a hell of a woman. Even our ministers were afraid of her that they had to call her the Iron Lady. They used to call them boys, but they used to call them in cabinet. So there was a strength of the Freedom Party which caused people to be fearful, and people began to live in droves. And not only that, the Labour Party lacked leadership. The Labour Party was going nowhere. And so the Labourites and the Freedomites wanted to see this. And so there's a basis. That was the foundation. What is the foundation for the DUPP, which will drive its philosophies and its principles? So what I'm saying is that coalition, you don't have coalition madness and confusion, because at the end of the day, people coming together does not necessarily mean viability, does not necessarily mean success. And you have to be very careful when you communicate the message that you have to come together. Just to remove Skerrit? Just to remove Skerrit, you want to come together, then what? Then what? You go into power and then you find yourself fighting against it, and who should be minister, who shouldn't be minister, who do on that post, who this and that, and right inside of there, one might be under. You see what happened in St. Lucia with Val Gonzalez? Until the coalition fell?
In St. Vincent.
In St. Vincent. So we have to follow, and there have been enough historical examples of opposition parties coming together just to defeat a government, going into power, and the demise of such a movement.
But don't you think that maybe this time they might have the same principles going forward if they come on the same stage and discuss policies?
I don't know. I'm listening to them. I listen to them. I don't think their philosophies and their principles are aligned. Their practices might be aligned. They may have the same social and economic hopes for Dominica. They might have the same political causes. But Matt, what is the foundation? What is the principle? And that is what I want to stress. Will any coming together of the opposition in Dominica lead to viability, sustainability, and above all, Matt, the greater good for Dominicans? It's not about removing Roosevelt, Skerrit, and the Labour Party government. It's about getting into power to move this country forward. Every other Caribbean country is ahead of us. No, they're ahead, though. Okay, every other people are working vigorously in the investment of the country. We don't see that in Dominica. Every other country in the world, you have aspirations. That is what you get into power for, to advance your people, to build your nation, to bring your nation on another level, to get in government to make sure you have good governance. That's what not just to remove a government. That's not what you're going to fall for when you get in there for what? And you cannot be, let us take, what Mr. say, take them out at any cost. Well, you know what happened when you come out? We're dealing with the any cost. Right now in Dominica. I mean, 2000, we take them out at any cost. Well, the Dominicans seeing the any cost. You know what the any cost for Dominica is? They're not seeing their way. You know what the any cost for Dominica is? They live in, things are expensive. You know what the any cost for Dominica is now? The hospital isn't good and safe and secure. You know what the any cost for Dominica is now? They have not fully recovered from Hurricane Maria. You know what the any cost of Dominica has turned into? People are living in droves. You know what the any cost of Dominica is? The young people cannot see their way. You know what the any cost of Dominica is? We have become the most divided country. So we have to be mindful of that. Take them out at any cost narrative.
Let's say, for example, Sima, let's you say Soufriere or maybe the Carib Territory as an example. If, for example, that the United Workers' Party people, the supporters have decided to, let another party represent that constituency and they join the forces to remove the incumbent. What's your take on that?
Matt, I'm glad you raised those two constituencies. From a political and analytical point of view, let us look at the Carib Territory. UWP won the Kalinago territory twice. So that was a UWP seat. UWP lost that election 3 times very narrowly. In other words, their base held. The support held. So it means that for the Kalinago territory, the UWP has its base, it has its support, and it has the votes required. Have they done a number analysis to see how many votes they can then amass in each polling district? Have they done that? To see, well, okay, if we have lost by 100 votes, where do we get those 100 votes from? You want to tell me you want to trade off one of your major winning constituencies? We're not talking about Granby, We're not talking about Portsmouth, Okay? We're not talking about Vegas, We're talking about a stronghold of the UWP, which they won twice. And they have been able to hold on to their base support. You want to trade that up? Rather than saying, let us look for the best candidate to bring that seat home back to us. That's what they should be considering.
And I'm happy you're saying that because somebody's talking to me on Facebook from the Carib Territory. They say, I disagree with Simeon. Certain groups would vote another party opposed to what they've had for the last decades. That's coming from the constituency itself. So
that.
Yes,
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm coming to that. Now, Matt, let us look at Soufriere. Remember, Mr. Labassiere lost that seat by less than 100 votes, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember Ferdinand Frampton, that seat was stolen from him, right?
I'm following.
Huh?
I'm following.
He won. Isn't it amazing that seat has gone all the way to Labour? What is the problem there? Remember that too. In 2000, Mr. Labassiere narrowly lost that seat. In 2005, Ferdinand Frampton, very biased seat. As a matter of fact, he won the seat and it was taken from him. You remember it was challenged in court?
Yeah, I remember.
Right. Matt, listen to the argument. Are you telling me that the opposition in Dominica is so not hopeful in the people of Dominica right now? That, Matt, let us look at this narrative. If at all, let us use the question the person used. If the people of Dominica were so fed up of in power, if the people of Dominica really want to change, if the people of Dominica say, well, okay, Labour Party is doing nonsense for the past 10, 15 years, you have pure nonsense. Shouldn't the question be, how is that these very same people are not translating their support to the UWP? Shouldn't that be the question? Instead, you know what people are saying? Scary not good, the Labour Party not good, but I don't think UWP is the best alternative. That's what people are saying. You talk to the majority of people, you talk to people who severely, sharply, Labour rights, people who support the government, you talk to these people well and they will tell you, boys, this and that Labour Party is excellent, but I'm not supporting UWP because I don't believe in UWP. And so shouldn't that be a thing of concern? Disagreement with the government, unhappiness with the government doesn't necessarily mean votes will translate to the opposition. Does not necessarily mean that. The opposition has to inspire. The opposition has to work. I'm not just saying we're on the ground. It must be proven. It must be seen. It must be felt. Okay? and not just visiting it.
But the narrative can be the same, Simeon. They say, well, I don't support UWP. I don't support the Labour Party. So let me try an independent candidate. That might be
fair enough.
Yes.
Fine enough. Fine. Fair enough. Fine enough. And so let the third party go its way. Be on your foundation. Build your strength. Contest an election. Let the people of Dominica decide. If when they go in the poll, they want Labour Party, let them put them back. If when they go and vote, they want to put back UWP, let them put them in. If when they go, they want to give the UPP a chance, let them give the UPP a chance. I think that is a more stable environment for any stable government. Coalitions do not work. Coalitions are not just there for political expediency. Coalitions are there for national development. That is my perspective. People may disagree with me, but my perspective, you go into politics, Matt, not to win an election. You go into politics to serve the people and the common good and to form a government for the advancement and the development of your country. That's why you go into politics. And that's why it is so shameful that so many people on the Labour Party side have been bought and paid for 30 pieces of silver to go into politics. Because when they go there, they don't serve the people of Dominica. They don't serve the government. They serve a man in power. And as such, the people of Dominica continue to suffer. The very people who work for them continue to suffer. How is that people have said they don't want Kelvin Daru, they don't, but they go back and St. Joseph and vote them? How is that people have said they don't want this one in and they go back and vote Labour Party? They don't like Peter Sargent, they go back and vote Labour Party. They don't like this one in Castle, they don't like Bonnie, but they go back and vote her. They don't like this, but they go back and vote Labour because they change around candidates because people are realizing, okay, you changing the coat, but the other person still not providing any economic. People don't have to agree with me. But I mean, that is my opinion. If asking my opinion, and I think I would say one, Dominica needs unity. Dominica needs unity on all fronts. I am disappointed with the government in the way that they have led the people of Dominica down a sharp road of division. They have the language, Mr. Not one of us, Mr. Not one of us, Mamsel not one of us. They have ruled Dominica with exclusion and not inclusion. The many organizations in the Dominican Church and so have been infiltrated because of politics, and as such, it is heavily divided. And people cannot work together. Our village councils, our city council, look at the last city council election. Pure politics, and that should not be. That should not be. Okay? Because we're going to have a power rep running the city council as has been happening with the last $100,000 they gave them. It's still the power rep that decided, not the village councils or the city councils, what happens to the money. That is a breach of the Local Government Act, and that is a violation of the local government system in Dominica. Number two. Number three, the opposition, if you want to be champion the cause of the deliverance and the salvation of Dominica, you yourself, it's incumbent upon you to work towards unity for the sake of the people of Dominica who need liberation. Get your act together. Stop blaming each side.
Is it too late?
Mediate, find common ground, find common objectives, find common purposes, find common things where you don't have to agree with each other. You don't have to talk to each other, but you can work together.
I'm asking Simeon, is it too late at this stage?
No, Matt, it's never too late. You mad? No, Matt, there's always something called election surprise, you know. It's never too late. And I can guarantee the opposition, there are 100 people out there willing to work with them. But you know why people won't support them, Matt? Because they're afraid. If the United Workers' Party had a more united front, people would take the risk. But Matt, you don't expect a public servant, a policeman, a nurse, a fireman, somebody with business, somebody to take a risk in all you falling apart. What's going to happen to those people? Very few of us are brave enough to say no matter what, hell, high, low water, we on board. There are people who want to come out, but they're afraid because if they go and join a fragmented piece, it's going to fall apart. When that fall apart, where do they stand? They have their businesses to go back to. They may need their jobs. They have their families to support. And that is what the leadership of the UWP needs to be mindful of. Maybe people are not coming on board because they are not privileged. As I said before, remember what I said, the unifying collective narrative?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be supporting each other. You don't have to like the leader. You don't have to like who not liking the leader. You don't have to blast each other on Facebook like they were doing. What the hell those people are always blasting each other on Facebook like that? They're not coming in. Always blasting each other on Facebook, and you say you're supporting the same party. You want to see the end of the Labour Party, but you want to go on Facebook and blast people, blame this one, blame this one. You can criticize, but you have to call names.
The biggest criticism I've heard of the United Workers' Party in the recent months, Simeon, is about identifying candidates and people saying we want to know who our candidates are. Your take on that?
Well, that is. But you see, again, that has to do with what I just said. People will step forward and be bold enough to say, "I want to be a candidate," when they know the support behind them is strong, when they know that the pillars on which they are standing will not crumble. But if people know, Moja, I want to go for workers, but them fellas, I see they divided, they breaking my heart. I'm not sure if I should take a chance. Moja, if I go, what will happen to me? They will not get the requisite support. They will not get the open. Or you know that people go to opposition party meetings and they will not go during the day because they don't want people to see them. But they'll go at night, they'll hide behind a car, they will start a distance, they will stand listen, etc. because they're afraid. Never before in the history of Dominica has that the UWP mantra, fear no more, is necessary and required. Fear no more. But I'm not afraid, because fear is fear is of the devil.
That's true.
Children of God are not afraid of human flesh. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid of security. I'm not afraid of labor. I'm not afraid of Dominicans. I'm not afraid of Catholics. I'm not afraid of UWP. I'm not afraid of them. Because anybody who lives in fear is living a deceptive life. Anybody who's living in fear is allowing the devil to take control of them. Anybody who lives in fear is allowing Satan to be their boss. When God is your guide and God is your boss, you not fear. You stand up for something or you fall for nothing. We're not all perfect. Each of us have our imperfections. Each of us have our own little whatever it is. But that doesn't mean you must use that because that is Satan's way. That is Satan's way of telling you, be forward, be a coward, be afraid. Well, no. Accept our limitations, accept our difficulties, even accept our sinfulness at times. But for the great and the common good, come forward and fight. That's what we have to do. And we cannot be afraid. And I wish more Dominicans were like that. Every banker, every teacher, every policeman, every nurse, every public servant, every farmer, every businessman, every person in Dominica is fed up with what this government is doing. Put yourself forward. Stop being, because sometimes when people calling me behind the scenes. I don't want to be. There's some people like curse them. Don't call me behind the scenes. Call the radio and talk. Call the radio. Don't be afraid, because the Constitution guarantees freedom of speech.
I know, because already some people are texting me and saying, Simeon should address this and Simeon should address that. Personal attacks, that is what is happening in Dominica. People get personal once you're talking the truth, yeah?
Tell them call themselves and say it. Tell them, call them, that's your coward they are. They're not ready yet. But hopefully when they go in the ballot box, when they go in the booth, they will articulate it through their X. Right? And the people of Dominica will get a good surprise and they'll be liberated. But when election comes, we have to ensure we're not just putting a party in power, Matt. We have to ensure that we're putting capable, competent, hardworking, visionary, goodwill, good-hearted people in power, so that Dominica can be transformed and grow and flourish and be the best place to live, the best place to work, and the best place to enjoy life. Because Dominica is the garden of the Caribbean, it's the Eden of the world. Everybody loves Dominica.
Somebody's saying, just listen to that message. Simeon Joseph is biased. I am now losing all respect for him. If it was Lennox who was the leader of the UWP, then Simeon would never say these things that he said about the UWP. How do you respond to that?
Well, you see what I mean, Matt. You see what I mean? You see how they have to cast aspersions and go with personalities? Ask them if what I have said there is wrong. Ask them if the UWP doesn't have to work harder. Ask them if the UWP doesn't have to be on the ground more. Ask them if the UWP must come out and champion more. Ask them those questions. You see how people drive into personalities. Lennox is not my friend. I remember when last I talked to Lennox. And let me be very open about it. Right? I have always supported whoever is leader of the UWP. The Dominicans forget that I basically planned, organized, coordinated the economic conference of Dr. Thompson Fountain. Do they forget that? Matt, aren't you aware of that?
I am aware.
Aren't you aware of that?
Yes, I am. Yes.
About. These people, you see, and that is how people are biased, and that's how we'll go nowhere. That's why people are, yes, I'm biased. Everybody have their biases. Ask that person what is their bias. Why they have to bring up names? Ask that person what is their bias. Ask that person what is their bias. Tell you their bias. Because they're calling me biased. I haven't said anybody this. Did I in my utterances, if you say Lennox is better than Thompson, or Thompson is better than Lennox, have I told you that?
No.
Have I said so? Mm-hmm. No, I've looked at leadership, the ingredients of leadership, the requirements of leadership. That's what I've looked at. So people need to think, and tell them don't text you, tell them call and say it, man. That's what they have to say. I'm not afraid of, Matt, I will speak my mind. Okay?
I know that.
That's the bottom line.
All right. Well, Simeon,
That's where we have to go. But you call me on that, and Matt, in ending, I have an assignment to go and do. Let me say this. The most stable and the most prosperous societies are those that place unity and social cohesion at the heart of their development. Okay? If you want your country to develop, you have to place unity and the togetherness of the people at the heart of what you do. People, those of us who want to guard human life and want to get in the sphere of advancing people, we have to ensure that that vision that we advocate, where humanity acts as a conscious whole, and we act as a conscious whole for the preservation of life, the young, the old, the unemployed, the underemployed, those who are struggling in life, the sick, the young people on the street, the young men on the side of the road, the farmers, the people who are looking for a better life. And so we have to realize that social cohesion is what transforms societies. We have moved away from that, and our society has been transformed into a degenerative and degrading entity. We need to turn that around. We need to be a people focused on development, focused on progress, focused on unity, focused on togetherness, focused on working together and putting our differences aside, no matter who it is, and ensure that what we do is for the ultimate good of Dominica and Dominicans. It cannot be about us. It's not about Roosevelt Skerritt. It's not about Thompson Fountain. It's not about Joshua Francis. It's not about Mr. Ito. It's not about Lennox Linton. It's not about Edison James. It's not about any particular person. It's about the people of Dominica. That's what it is.
Simeon Joseph, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll replay this and you'll have a chance to criticize or commend Simeon Joseph sometime later today. All right, let's do this one there. And my favorite song. Oh boy, stick around. A lot of food for thought there from social scientist Simeon Joseph. You ever stop coming up with the NCCU?
You build your barriers, the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away.
We'll take a few calls before next stop at 10:15. Let's do this one now.
You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong. So wrong. Thought that my pride was gone. Oh no, something inside so strong. Something inside so strong. Oh, you refuse to hear my voice. The louder I will sing. You hide behind the Jericho. Your lies will come tumbling. In my place and time, you squander wealth and find.
Somebody says, man, if the UWP was serious, instead of saying that they are fed up or wanting to shut up Simeon, they would even be asking him to be the advisor or strategist to assist them in their duties. Please read my message in support of Simeon Joseph. Please, thank you. He's very professional, and having professional support is essential for an opposition to be effective. Let's take a few calls. I know people are burning to talk at this time. Hello, talk to me. Next time I'll invite Simeon on StreamYard so you can have an exchange. Hello, talk to me, yes?
This is Poetry
political strategy, but it's politics that is so nasty, scary, dividing families, much less for UWP. He using money and destroy UWP. So plenty of them, you see that all of a sudden a diversionary tactic. Accuse Mr. Joseph of having some bias, some preference. I'm listening from the start. Where is it? But that's what they do. That is pure psychology. Create doubts, confusion. You know, all of a sudden, it's Simeon Joseph have a problem because if it was Lennox and Skerrit using money and mash up UWP. Blessings that say that. Traitors.
All right, caller, thank you. Hello, talk to me. Are you there? Oh, sorry about that. It's 10:03. Let's talk to me.
Matt, good morning, and how are you this morning, Matt?
Morning to you, morning. On a hot seat.
Matt, right, well, yeah, I only got, it was really hot. Matt, I listened to Simeon, all right? Say what you want about him. He gives you his views. If you don't want to agree with him, you have a right not to agree with him, but he's giving his views. And I believe Simeon has given a lot of food for thought this morning. But I just want to add and say, all of us know a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. So there must be unity. Unity of purpose, unity of in principle, unity in getting the job done. So as far as I'm concerned, I am fully acceptable of what Simeon has said, that there must be unity to move forward. Have a nice day, man.
Have a nice one, too. On the telephone, hello, talk to me, yes?
Matt, good day.
Good day, good day. Mm-hmm.
Simeon has gone through. Boy, I give this gentleman 100% and even more if there are more percent for it.
Mm-hmm.
This man hits the nail hard. Matt, I want you to give a repeat on that talk you had, Simeon. Simeon is not afraid of anybody. He speaks the truth. Why don't people like to hear the truth now? Why? All of a sudden they're saying, oh, if it was Lennox, he would say this, he would say that. Nonsense. All what that man said is straight to the point. And Dominicans must learn to listen and listen to the facts. These are the facts. This is what we are suffering with. The opposition has to try to come together with people. Stop watching on another boy face. Stop going on Facebook and giving people make free. And when somebody come out with something for them to say, oh, you're not tired, call it, or you're not tired, say that. Stop that. Time for us to come together. It's not to take out things. Now, what we want is to build a Dominica for our young people, for our elderly, for all people to come and have a grateful time. That's what we need in Dominica. Thank you.
We know better. Just look them in the eyes and say, gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway. Something inside so strong.
10:06. Hello, talk to me.
Morning, Professor.
Morning to you. Morning.
Matt, you need to repair that Simeon Joseph. You need to repair it. Matt, Simeon Joseph hit the nail on the head. Matt, especially when Simeon Joseph said, Mr. Fontaine, you are the leader of UWP. Stretch forth. Call the past members together. Sit around a table. The people of Dominica looking. They need something to rely on. They need that. You are the leader. Call the people that you feel are divided the party or divide the party. Call them together. Sit around a table. Bring them together. People will not put up their name for candidacy if they don't see the unity and the strength going forward. Simeon, we need to hear more like that, and they need to keep on playing that. Have a blessed day, man.
When we know better, just look them in the eyes. Gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway.
10:04. Hello. Yes. Good morning.
A great and wonderful day to all the listeners of 295.
Thank you.
Wow, Matt, it's
Yes.
a while I haven't voiced my opinion, but I have to this morning. Dominicans, I am there. To all my fans, I am there who haven't heard my voice in a while. Matt, Simeon, Joseph, 1,000% is yours. Shoot to the bone. You can take that to the bank. No counterfeit. I don't know why people hate to hear the truth, but the truth shall set you free. Talk it. And everything that Simeon has said is the truth. Dominicans, listen and learn. We have too much foolish people in Dominica, too much senseless people in Dominica, too many people who put their pride, swallow their pride, and they don't tag it. They don't listen to the message. They tag it, the messenger. Everything what he said is for our village development and for us to proceed. Anybody who is rejecting what Simeon said this morning is an enemy of the state. Period. Continue.
Thank you. Thank you. For 493095996 and 97. I'll give you an encore this afternoon, okay? That is a part of it. For every one person fed up with Simeon Joseph, there are 10 reasons why I love him.
Matt, good morning.
Morning.
Matt, everything Simeon said, I think UWP should just take that and see what they can build around that. And Matt, a lot of these things are for the supporters of UWP. Because oftentimes, Matt, it is not just the leaders that have the problem, it is the supporters of UWP that choose to divide the party, that choose to have my preference there and my preference there, when the goal should be for a better life, a better Dominica. And that is why I don't understand sometimes why they will go ahead and shoot the messenger instead of listening. UWP kapali kot labor, take labor right way, take labor, or your bow head, your close head, your bow eyes, you. Me, Matt, and I say workers like you, Matt, take faith, take kalbas, yoni, yo passa, koute, sa moun kadiki bon pour manger patia. Yo pli derrière ka diviser. Comment on qui a parlé de Simeon ni bias là? Ou côté tout ça Simeon de garder c'est tout ça nous sortait veille. Qui bias. Mais ou pas même connaître ça qui a fait le parti là. Ou pas ça c'est qui te arrangé par Thompson. Ou pas ça qui depuis nan écranel c'est qui te arrangé tout stage pour convention by UWP. Ou pas connaître ça. Mais on connaît ni bias. So all a bias oui. C'est ça comme ça qui a mis division parti là. C'est ça comme ça qui a mis power là sur Facebook. Qui moun zo aimé, qui moun zo pas aimé avec fait un problème là. Vini plus red. It doesn't matter who is the leader of the UWP. What you all should understand is that it is UW, a brand that was established in 1988, a brand. And if you decide to be in the party, it means you're supporting the brand. Makala veve rien d'autre pas c'est Clorox, c'est Colgate, Mocaso, Sevi, c'est UWP qui brand là. It's not who is the leader. Whoever the leader is, you just go ahead and support because you know their track record and you know what they've done in the 4.5 years they led the country. That's all it should be about. Thank you, Matt.
When we know that, just look them in the eyes and say, gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway. Gonna do it anyway.
Somebody says, how we know it's not by design that these opposition members not being paid by Scary to disrupt the UWP. How do we know that Thompson has not reached out to get them back to get them back together? Huh? Just about 5 more minutes. Hello, talk to me. Yes, good morning to you. Are you there?
For the final time, I'm going to call your radio station if it's not to win something or for health program. You listen to me well. UWP can never win an election with that division. That is part one. Part two, that thing about they don't believe in people have to talk and have their own opinion, well, let them stay where they be. If election calls, now Labour winning all 21 seats. And finally, Joshua and Lofty better put their house in order and they better start to comprehend that everybody needs money. Bills have to pay. And only a fool that can refute saying you don't need money or because politics has become transactional and people need money. Because the same people are saying about money not thing and that, when they go in Roseau, they don't want to have their shopping bag. Well, guess what? I want to have my shopping bag too. UWP can never win an election in Dominica. I'm waiting for them to tell me my life is true because the last time I checked, me that paying my bills, me that feeding myself. No money, no vote. No money, you cannot win election. Bye-bye.
On the telephone, hello, it's hot on the hot seat. Are you there?
Matt, I'm not trying to play God is up there. I wonder what is the intention or objective of the person who WhatsApp you and make that statement. And what I am saying, Matt, let us forget about the person. Who are the people that are being paid to divide UWP, create confusion? How many of them that are getting jobs from government? The thing is deeper than what people thinking it is. Some people are getting paid to pray. Thank you.
The next 3 minutes of our friends here from the NCCU, huh? And I will give you a repeat. I'll give you a repeat this afternoon, okay? I know you want to exhale, huh? Reach out on the talk on the block. If it's on the block, we'll talk about it.
From the cradle to the grave, you don't have to do me. You need a loan, you want to stay. You want come and visit us today. With a commitment to quality, therefore you and me was one the family, but now it's a community. Making life easy, like a no matter who you are, you can benefit. When you bring your mortgage,
with rates as low as 5% and loans for all your needs.
when an MRA,
Pay it for your golden years and take advantage of our savings product.
we will finance your business.
Checking accounts, small business loans, wire transfers, and so much more.
This is you all the way. From the cradle to the grave, you You don't want to be no slave. You need a loan you want to save. You want come and visit us today. With a commitment to quality. Therefore you and me was one the family, but now with the community. Making life easy, yes, like it. No matter who you are, you can benefit. When you bring your mortgage,
With rates as low as 5% and loans for all your needs.
open an MRA,
Save for your golden years and take advantage of our savings product.
we will finance your business.
Checking accounts, small business loans, wire transfers, and so much more.
NCCU all the way.
Your community financial partner.
NCCU.
Need a loan, chicken at home. 64 feet on the shore. NCC's got you in various offices. But with don't need membership. You want quality products, we have that. You want quality services, we have that too. Our services will help make your dreams come true. That's a fact. Hurry now to NCCU, your community financial partner. Yes, support you through all disaster. At NCCU, trust us, we can. The kind of loyalty you cannot find anywhere. National Cooperative Credit Union, education, training, and information. Self-help, responsibility, democracy, equality, solidarity. NCCU, we have no charge for our members. So become a member today in one of our local offices to help us make your dreams come true. 255-2126. NCCU, your community financial partner.
From the cradle to the grave. NCCU, you don't want to be no slave. NCCU, you need a loan you want to save. You want come and visit us today. With a commitment to quality. Therefore you and me was one the family, but now with the community. Making life easy, yes, like it. No matter who you are, you can benefit. When you bring your mortgage,
With rates as low as 5% and loans for all your needs.
open an MRA,
Save for your golden years and take advantage of our savings product.
we will finance your business.
Checking accounts, small business loans, wire transfers, and so much more.
NCCU all the way.
Your community financial partner.
NCCU.
All right, Dominique, we're here. In my company, 3 powerful ladies, out of the park this morning. Good morning, ladies. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Matt. Good morning.
I had to sit back and relax.
I feel like anytime I come on the radio, the first thing that the listening public is me laughing, Every time I come on Q90, always. I come on Q90, I thank you, Matt.
You have to break the ice.
Yes, you keep me happy. Thank you. So good morning to everybody. Of course, hearing the sound of my voice, a special good morning to all the NCCU members out there. As always, if you feel left out from that special greeting, you know what to do. Become a member of the NCCU, and then that greeting will be for you as well. Of course, this is Shari Pascal Maroney speaking to you, marketing manager. It's a program with a difference this morning. We'll get a little more into it, but I will let my colleague introduce herself as well.
Good morning to listeners of Q95 Radio. It's Monique Jeffrey, your favorite marketing assistant. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
My homie, huh?
I wasn't here last time you all were here. Matt missed me and I missed you all. So it's going to be a great session. I'm happy to be here with you.
You brought that for me as a present?
No, I'm sorry.
That went downhill real quickly.
That was a rejection there.
Right. So we are, of course, joined with a very wonderful guest who is no stranger to the NCCU. She's no stranger to Q95. She's no stranger to Dominica. And we were just joking around. She's no stranger to the region and the world.
Right.
And incidentally, what we were talking about off air will also come into play on air, because this is NCCU's Health and Wellness Month radio crawl. Of course, every month we come to you talking different promotions, talking products and services. But in April, we set aside time to have conversation with the listening public, our members, and everybody else about your health and your wellness. And it is more than just about financial health. We are starting with financial health this morning, but the entire month is focused on a holistic approach. So it's your health for your pocket, for your person, for your mind, for your physical body, mental, everything. So we focus on the entire person, the entire being. So we definitely want to encourage all our members to pay attention to what we're saying. It's very good information. We learn a lot ourselves during the month. Look out for everything that we will be having. And this week is Radio Week, and we're starting it with a powerhouse of a person, none other than Miss Shoma John. Of course, we will give her time to say a little more about who she is. But what we do know is that she is the Financial Information Month coordinator. So that's why I say she's no stranger to NCCU, because we do, of course, participate heavily in Financial Information Month. It's one of those things that bring our Creole and Independence and Credit Union Week time to a very, very hectic time, because we have FIM activities going on at that same time. And outside of that, that being her role, she is, of course, a personal financial advisor as well. So very, very important information will be coming from Miss John. So welcome, Miss John. Thank you for joining NCC Radio Crawl.
Thank you, Shari. Thank you. And Monique.
See what I told you? I'm surrounded by powers. I'm just...
Yes, Matt, what's up? Your people told you they saw me. Morning, Dominique.
Morning.
And the region and the world, Shema John. And of course, Shari said it. We partner for Financial Information Month, and every month should be Financial Information Month.
Correct.
So I'm happy to see that NCCU, they're informing and educating their listeners, their subscribers, their members, and everybody else. So it's a pleasure to be here to share what it is I might know with the general public.
For sure. So, Matt, sometimes we sit and we say, well, health is wealth, wealth is health. We use those terms. It's true. But of course, your health is more than just your financial health, but it is a big part of it. Yeah. Everything, to be honest, stems from your financial health as well, because, if you are sick in your body, you also need money. If you are stressed out, you need a vacation, you need just a detox. You need money for that too, everything, right? So it is very fitting that we're starting with the financial part of the health and wellness. So we may hear people say things like, you may hear people say things like, well, financial health, what is that? What is financial health?
Financial health or financial well-being is really being satisfied with your financial situation, where you are now and where you hope to be later. So that is financial well-being. But I'll put a little twist, because I would say there are some people who are satisfied with their financial situation as is, but there is room for improvement. So if you're satisfied, then you're satisfied. I cannot unsatisfy you. But we always know there's room for improvement. So it's really just being comfortable and satisfied with your current financial situation, with planning for future. And the future is what we do not know. Because you can be financially healthy now, and later on, you're not healthy anymore. Or you could be financially unhealthy 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and then you took steps like remedy, medicine, whatever it is, financial remedy, and now you're in a better financial situation. So it's really just being satisfied with your current and future financial situation, and we can always improve it.
That is true. Definitely. I agree 100%. And you're speaking there, Shoma, am I satisfied?
That's the question.
That's the question. Matt, are you satisfied? That's sigh. You could do better.
All of us. All
Yes.
of us.
Yeah, I
really,
think
because
so.
I
Yeah.
feel all of us, we can always do better.
So that of course to everyone listening is the first question that has come up from what Shema was saying is we need to sit and ask ourselves, are we satisfied? Yes.
yes.
Are we satisfied with where we are heading? And we need to maybe make some changes.
And so once you ask yourself that question honestly,
Mhm.
am I satisfied with where I am financially? The answer can be yes, I am. And if I say yes, I am, but are there any rooms for improvement? And then I say, well, yes, I can probably save a little more. Probably now I can concentrate on retirement.
Mhm.
Probably now I can do this, that. I always wanted a cruise, so maybe now I can do a cruise. And if the answer is no, I am not satisfied, then what are you going to do about it?
Mhm.
And then we go into where you're at now, what's your current situation, and where you want to be. So what is your goal, your financial goal? And then based on where you are now and where you would like to be, we go through the whole process of how do we get there.
Makes sense. So, of course, we know we're going to end up in that conversation about saving, and I'm even turning to you already because deep breath. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. I mean, we're here from the NCCU, and of course, we come on the radio all the time and tell people about all our savings plans that we have available, the different products and services, and we tell them Christmas Club, MRE, all the good things, and they are good things. But
they
it's
are
a
great
yes,
things.
they are great things. Thank you. But it's a struggle. Why? From your years of experience with doing the personal coaching, the personal
Right.
advising, and even from the financial information aspect of it, what is their struggle? Why do people struggle to save so much?
Okay, so let's talk on some things. The first thing people will tell you, they do not even make enough money, much less to be able to save. That's one thing. How I counter that, I say, but you were not working at a particular point. And having said that, I really wish at some point in the future, very soon, that we can introduce financial literacy and financial education in the school system, from the preschool, primary school, high school, college, because we went through the entire school system without anybody telling us about financial literacy.
A
So I'd like to
cultural
put,
thing.
so I would really like to put a plug there. And it's not just Dominica thing, eh?
Yes.
It's a regional thing, it's an international thing. They do not teach financial education. But at a certain point in your life, you were not working, you were unemployed, right? So you had no income coming in. And then you got a job. And that is where we need to start. Once they say, Shari, your salary is going to be $1,000, what did you do? So the first thing we have to do is allocate the salary. Okay, I'm going to get $1,000. And how do we start allocating it?
And that sounds big at the time, huh?
I mean, even if
Definitely.
it's small, even if it is small, but it's really allocating it. So a lot of people, they get the salary
Mhm.
and then they start spending and then they start incurring bills without saying on that $1,000, this is how I'm going to allocate. There are different strategies. You can spend 50%, you can do whatever you want with the order. I use 40, 30, 20, 10.
Mm.
So 40% will go towards your living expenses, 30% towards your wants and other expenses, 20% towards saving and investment, and the last 10% to give back.
Mm.
Give back for those people of the faith and they want to give back to their church.
tithes and
Give back in
offerings,
terms of
yeah.
your community. Give
Mhm.
back. Now, you all work at NCCU. If your boss would say, well, things are tight, and so we're going to do a 10% cut. So you have a choice. We can either cut your salary 10% or we have to lay you off.
Mm.
Which one would you select?
You take the 10% cut, yeah?
You would take it, and Matthew would take the 10. I mean, we wouldn't just say like 10% cut.
You remember a couple of years ago, I think it was 2000, were you working at the time?
The austerity measures.
The austerity measures.
Mhm.
All of us took a cut.
Exactly.
I'm
We
not gonna
had
look
no
back yet.
choice.
Exactly.
We had no choice in the matter. So if you take your mindset and you say, okay, so it's like a 10% cut,
Mhm.
and that 10%, you tell yourself, I have to save that hook or crook.
Mhm.
But remember, when I was doing 40, 30, 20, 10, I did say 20 should be saving and investing, 10
Right.
each, 10 each, right? So we have to do from, since we start working, how much percent, and at least 10% of your salary should go towards saving. How do you do it? automating the savings is the best way to go.
Listen, I have to talk. I have to talk, David.
No problem.
Listen, because I tell people all the time, every time we go out and we do any sort of financial literacy session, whether it's with adults, whether it's with children, and we've been doing them with the young children. So it's true what you're saying. If it was part of the curriculum, that would be a big
Yeah.
plus, So we would be training people from small to
Mhm.
think like that. But no matter what age we tell them, when that time comes, please do. Director,
Yeah.
automate.
Automate,
Because no
yeah.
matter what, once that money gets into your hands,
See money.
no, you will let you will let it go. You will let it go, but just not into the savings. Because no matter what, there's always something that you need to do with your money. So once the money gets into your hands, it's the same as if you have $100
and you break
and you break it.
That's it. So automating, so the
Yeah.
savings thing, 10% as soon as you start working, that 10% make it automatic go to a savings. So if they tell you your salary is $1,000, your 10% is $100, send that straight into a savings and just know your salary is $900 and you're working with that $900. So that is one of the issues. And then you need a save, especially when you're just starting the business, you
Yeah.
need an account where you will not touch it.
True.
Right? And that's why I love the MRE from the credit union.
Mhm.
I started that with $50, right? Because that's what I could afford at the time. And then as you get your increase, you increase it. So I always encourage my people to do an MRE. Have an MRE, put some money in there. And your first goal would be, let me see how I can have my first $1,000.
Yeah.
It's hard to get the first 1,000, but once you see that $1,000 is saved, you start getting some momentum and feeling better. So you have to save now. For those, now we have a set of different people.
Mhm.
So there are some people who work and they do not have an account. I would like to encourage them first to open an account at, because I'm with you. I don't want my other partners to
Yes.
get upset with me, but open an account at a financial institution.
Mhm. They can
So-
get upset. Hi guys, good morning to everybody else listening, all the other credit unions and the banks.
Right.
But we're gonna say open the account at NCCU.
It's your program, so no
Yes.
problem. So open an account at a financial institution. So that's for people without any account. So they need to do that. Those people that already have an account, regulate the savings.
Yeah.
Remove your 10%. And if 10% is really, really choking, start with 5%.
Start with
But you
something.
have to remove directly from your salary. Do not physically take it and go and bring it to NCCU. Do an automated. No, I know some of my people said that their employer, they
Yes,
do not
they
do the
don't do.
direct deduction.
Right.
Which is fine, because with the platforms we have now,
Mhm.
if your money is going to that bank, you can actually send it yourself
Mhm.
to NCCU and automate it.
Right, that is
so you
true.
can say occurring every month on the 1st or on the 31st or whatever it is.
Mhm.
So they need to automate. Now, there are some people who they're doing that, so they have their account, it's automated, they're saving, and then they're just at that stage and nothing else. Now you get 2% on your savings, right? If you do not have an MRE.
If you don't have an MRE, yes.
So that's where we put the plug for the MRE
Yes.
at 4%.
At
I love
4%.
MRE, so I can speak for MRE. So that's why you put the plug for the
Mhm,
4%.
mhm.
But when you're starting off, if you put your money in there, you get 2% every year on your savings. So we would like, now there's some people that have a lot of money on their savings and they're doing nothing with
Nothing
it.
with it.
And they're really just investing 2%. But you have to think about inflation. What's inflation? And for those wondering what is inflation, is really just the money you have now, that $100 you have now, in 2 years, it is going to be worth less. And we're saying worth less in that it will not be able to buy the same basket of goods
Correct.
that it can buy now.
Yes.
So money now, time value of money now is worth more than later. Although the value is the same 100,
Mhm.
but because the prices of commodities are increasing for whatever reason, you will be able to buy less things with it. I remember buying an ice up for 25 cents.
Oh yes.
Now an ice up is $1.
A whole dollar.
Right?
Those were the good days.
So exactly. But then
Yes.
so that's smartphone, but we continuing. So you have to now move to investing. So we have people that saving, they have $10,000 in their account. And I'm not saying take your $10,000 and just put it in any Vikivai investment,
Mhm.
but you have to start thinking of, is the 2% enough? Is inflation going to eat all of that value of the money?
Right.
And what can I do to be able to get more money, but something legal, something regulated? So we have the Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange. I know it's sounding much, but I just want to go piece by piece with people, but just start thinking of what it is I can do. If you can braid very well, maybe now I can take some of that money and start doing my little braiding session outside of work, because we want people to think additional sources of income. I mean, we're working and we're grateful that we're working, but if we want more, we cannot really depend on
Sure.
that money, that
You can't.
one-time salary. And you know, in Dominica, most people get paid once a month. Maybe the financial institutions twice
Do
a
the
month,
fortnight.
but generally we get paid once a month.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult, and to have a social life and to look after children and to pay rent or mortgage, it's a lot. So we have to very early start with what it is we're trying to accomplish, your financial goal, and how do we get there.
So okay, Shema. So you said something, and I have I don't want to say, it's almost like a caveat. Because there's something that we notice as well. How do you deal with these two situations? One, where somebody says to you, I don't trust financial institutions, so I'm not even opening any account, and I'm not putting my money in an
Okay, so
account
I would
at
tell you.
all. Yes, I'll put it on my pillowcase,
Right.
under my mattress.
So if somebody would say that to me, I would say, okay, but are you aware that your home can be broken into and all the money can be stolen? That's one. Do you get any interest on your money when you put it under your pillow? Have you heard of any financial institutions in Dominica going belly up that people did not get their money? So if that's what it is, you have never heard that, we have never had that situation, why would you not put your money in a financial institution where you can get 2% interest? So send them to me.
Send them to
when they
you.
come with that, just send them to me. I will have a conversation with them.
Okay. My next one. And what about people who you have the conversations with and you see specifically that they're trying to live above their means?
Say it again, Mad Daddy Stone.
So we have questions coming left and right.
Right.
No, you have conversations with people sometimes, and you realize that okay, they may have great ideas, in terms of what they want to accomplish, and a plan is always good.
Right.
However, you realize that plan exceeds
But
their
that's
income.
where- that's
They
where
live above their means.
That's where the coaching comes in. Because so when I'm coaching, if I'm coaching you one-on-one, because as a coach, I don't tell you cannot do that or that not making sense. I cannot do that. So I would speak to you and question you. And based on my line of questioning, you will realize for yourself that probably you have to adjust some things. Probably you have to change something. Probably that is not feasible or reasonable or attainable at that time span based on your resources. So that's where the one-on-one coaching comes. While I say live within your means, which is a phrase I always use, cut your cloth to suit, I also still challenge people in terms of, if you want more, you can get more. It's like have your cake and eat it. If you want more,
Right.
you can get more, but you have to do more. So you cannot want more on your already burdened salary. It will not work. So for example, I know I want to go and do a trip. So I will push in another legal area to get some additional funding to fund my trip. Because most people, their monthly salary or their day job, their 8 to 4, that salary is already burdened.
It's booked.
It's booked. It's allocated. So now you have to look, if I want to do more, if I want to go on a cruise, if I want to do a vacation, whatever it is I want to do, what else can I do to gain additional money? And there are plenty little things, The amount of time I see people just chill at home, go on their phone, do TikTok, watch what I post, and there's so many other things they could do. Like your neighbor backyard, ask them to clean it, water the plants. So your neighbor, she always busy. I'm talking about myself.
Yeah.
Tell her you'll water the plants every month. She'll give you $50 or $100. Clean the bed. Plant trees, little things, power wash, paint. There are a lot of little things that people can do to
yes.
make additional money. Braid hair, do nails. And I just want to encourage people and push people to think of doing something additional to gain money.
Yeah, that is true. Somebody was saying some time back that they're always cooking, and they realize that they and their neighbor, they're good, so they would share food all the time. So it's not to say it's a strange thing, but the neighbor doesn't have time to cook.
Right there.
There's a business right there,
I see an opportunity right
yes,
there.
that's a good
So I say,
opportunity.
well, when I cook, I will give you food. You'll give me $15 a day for
Right,
the food.
right.
You'll pay me at the end of the month, or you'll pay me every week.
Yeah.
And I know I don't have the stress of cooking, and you gain additional money.
Correct.
Or you like to do pastries or whatever it is, and you add another neighbor.
I'll cook for you.
And you add some.
I know Matt is not for
and
him
you
to
add
cook for.
somebody else in your office. If they always want your food and they always looking forward to your
Right,
food,
yes.
then I will cook and bring food. And then you start your little thing there, right there.
Yeah, the side hustles are legit, and I love that you made sure that you said legal.
Yes,
legal.
I always do.
All right, everybody, legal.
Why you always saying legal?
No, it's
Because
necessary.
I want you to do a
Yes.
legal side hustle.
Yes.
To make additional funds.
Yes, definitely. Right. So, guys, this is a wealth of information. We have some more, of course. But we will give you a little break, and we'll give Shoma a little break as well too. So we will take we'll pay some bills from NCCU in the meantime.
Membership. You want quality products, we have that. You want quality services, we have that too. Our services will help make your dreams come true. That's a fact for you. So NCCU, your community financial partner. Yes, support you through all disaster. At NCCU, trust that we can. The kind of loyalty you cannot find anywhere. National Cooperative Credit Union. Education, training, and information. Self-help, responsibility, democracy, equality, solidarity. And with you, we have so hard for our members. So become a member today in one of our local offices to help us make your dreams come true. 255-2126. NCCU, your community financial partner.
From the cradle to the grave, you don't want to be slave. You need a loan you want to save. You want come and visit us today. Hey, with a commitment to quality. Therefore you and me was one the family, but now with the community. Making life easy, like anything. No matter who you are, you can benefit. When you bring your mortgage
with rates as low as 5% and loans for all your needs.
Open an MRA.
Save for your golden years and take advantage of our savings product.
We will finance your business.
Checking accounts, small business loans, wire transfers, and so much more.
NCCU all the way. Wow.
Your community financial partner.
NCCU.
You need a loan, checking account, 64 feet on shore. NCCU got you in various offices. So with high rank, so big new membership. You want quality products, we have that. You want quality services, we have that too. Our services will help make your dreams come true. That's a fact for you. So NCCU, your community financial partner. Yes, support you through all disaster. At NCCU, trust that we can. The kind of loyalty you cannot find anywhere. National Cooperative Credit Union. Education, training, and information. Self-help, responsibility, democracy, equality, solidarity. NCCU, we have so hard for our members. So become a member today in one of our local offices to help us make your dreams come true. 255-2126. NCCU, your community financial partner.
Now back to you.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
It's NCCU again with you again for Health and it might as well be Financial Information Month, but it's Health and Wellness Month. And of course, we have Shirma John here with us, the FIM coordinator. So Shirma, we wanted to go a little bit more into asking, in your line of work, you are privy to people's spending habits, what it is they do with their money. So what kind of connection do you see between finances, financial stress, and the overall well-being of these people?
Let me tell you something. If you see financially things are bad, you're going to be physically sick. You
I
get
feel
me?
that.
You can be physically sick, but financially healthy. I mean, you'll take the money and get your
Mhm.
treatment. But if you see you're financially sick, it's also going to make you physically sick. Yes, Matt, you
That's
agree?
true. That's true.
Because when you see you haven't got money to do basic things, first of all, you get a headache. They start with a headache. Then you cannot sleep. Then there's a little pain that has come behind the neck. That's the stress pain.
Mm.
So once you see you have your finances are not in order, it can have you depressed. It can have you unhappy. It can break up your marriage. It can have the relationship in the house. If you're renting with roommates or whatever, it can create friction. Financially, if your partner not providing and unable, you just don't feel to lie down.
Interact.
You're just not in the mood.
Mhm.
Your head hurts. You just think. And then when you cannot sleep. Once you cannot sleep, then it affects your whole operations and all of that. So it's very important that we be financially healthy. And financial wealth, like it's our welfare. So financial health is really about knowing what your current financial situation is and deciding if you're comfortable with it that way, if you want to move it a notch up, if you want to move it 2 notches up,
Mm.
and how you're going to do it. So financial wealth is very, very important.
Yeah, so can you probably share a few cases maybe in terms of spending habits? Because we already know we say the salary not enough already, but in your spending, are there some habits that we need to avoid?
Avoiding in terms of spending, like
Mhm.
look what this morning, I try not to work with money.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not work with cash
Uh-huh.
because once I work with cash, so that's for me.
You'll buy something.
It's easy
Thank
to
you very much. I work with cash. I see the coconut water. I mean, I wanted the coconut water. I buy the coconut water. But if you say I didn't have cash, I'd say, oh, I wanted the coconut water. But I
you have to
cannot
pass
buy
it
it
straight.
because I do not have money. So I try to use my credit card as much as possible to spend if I have to spend.
Mm.
I try to not buy things I do not need. And this year is actually the year I decided to go minimalist. I don't know if you all know what minimalist is.
Shares, baby, shares.
Shares. Because what I was trying to move out from a bedroom,
Mhm.
and I realized so many things that I have that I do not use. And then and that's money. It's not people that give me things. That's money I paid for it. I had bags and bags of things to give away. And that is one area I said, okay, so now this year, it is about having less material things and spending more on the experiences. That's for me. I have no issue reusing my clothes, even if I post it on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. I have no issue reusing because it's not disposable clothes I just buy.
Well, if
I mean,
anything,
I don't know
put your washing machine too.
I don't know if there's disposable clothes, but my clothes has been good clothes.
I can tell you, young people are gonna have difficulty like that.
Then
And that's unfortunate, eh?
Huh? Because
That's unfortunate.
they have to get something on or whatever.
So even look at we have an event coming up
Yes.
next month,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
I was right, and I was in the USVI, and I was like looking for something, and then I came home and I like, but see my African thing. I even had two to choose from. I say you go into jazz.
You're just going to
get-
style it as
you
differently
are
this
so
year.
going to jazz. Not have so I didn't have to buy something.
Mhm.
So we have the clothes in our closets. But we saying, but I use that to go wherever. People see that already. Like,
Me-
how are you living your life for people and putting yourself under expense for people? Now I understand if you have your money and you can afford to buy a new outfit, then you buy your new outfit.
Mhm.
But for a lot of people, it's not a thing they can afford to do,
And they do
but
it
they're doing it trying to impress
please.
people.
To please.
So a decision for me is to go minimalist. I see shoes, I see clothes, I see jeans, and sometimes I size 8. One time I was size 8. I was size 10. I go size 12. Now I suspect I'm between a tight 12 and a 14. So like I have to wait and I have to lose weight. So I need the 8 for when I lose weight, and I need it 10. I say, you know what? If I reach to a size 8 and 10 again, I'll be so happy to buy clothes that I just gave out everything. So I'm trying to do less on spending on clothes and shoes. Because you realize we use the same shoe we like, the same thing. Hair
It's very true.
products. I have for when I have my wig, when I have weave, when I have braid, and braids and hair and things. And the thing is that it's in a closet, in a cupboard, in a thing, just plenty of things. And it's so overwhelming. And when you see you have that clutter, so there I would like to encourage people. So if I give people X amount of clothes and shoes, it's helping them too. That means they do not have to buy, and they can use that money hopefully to save or to do something else. So we can examine our closets. Their clothes might have that too small. Matt doesn't even use those clothes again.
Oh, so many.
And somebody else in permission will be so happy to have those
Actually,
clothes.
I collect and give to the
St. Vincent de Paul?
No, the ward, the psych ward, a lot of times.
Very
Oh, yeah,
good,
if you
very
know them.
good. And so that is something. They're looking for a person my size because I check my clothes. It's nice clothes, good clothes. I'll hold that there still. But if I get somebody my size that I'm willing to give it up, because I just want 2 suitcases of things. Because I like to move. So I do not want to be burdened down.
Pick up and go.
With too many things. So try not to buy and have them there collecting them. If you buy, give out, bless somebody else. So these are some ways that we can try to just look at how we use our money and try not to do things to impress people. So you want to get a lunch shoe because you come to work and you see Shari have a lunch shoe, Monica have a lunch shoe, and you feel it.
Well, either way, people are going to talk, you do or you don't do.
So you have to do what is best for you. And having said that, I will talk to the young people too, because the young people, alas, for them, the social media thing have them.
They're chokehold.
Alas. But even in terms of purchasing, I know once you start working, you feel you want to have your little ride, your vehicle, but I always say it's transportation, but a vehicle on its own by itself is not an asset. It's a depreciating item. So I always try to tell the young people it's convenient, it's a nice to have, but there's so many expenses associated with having a vehicle. And then it's like a child. They always want gas. They always want spark plug. They always want this. They always want that. The engine thing, the transmission.
And speaking as someone who doesn't have an actual child, is my first child for true. Because right now, I have 3 things wrong with my vehicle.
Okay, then.
They're not terrible things, but it's just like I know I have money to spend. When the time comes.
I'm staying very quiet.
So I would tell the young people, don't make a vehicle your first expense. Invest in yourself. And investing in yourself looks something like that, not buying clothes and putting. As a matter of fact, I even find some people looking ugly with the
umbrella
extension.
I call them umbrellas.
Right.
Umbrellas.
But fans.
It can enhance, but I think some people overdoing. Right. So for my young people, and I love my young people, invest in yourself, retool, reskill yourself, learn a trade. The young men, learn a trade, learn how to paint, learn how to tile. Go with your partner that's an electrician, see what he's doing, observe what he's doing. Tell him I can come with you on Saturdays, learn the plumbing and the carpentry. For the young ladies, learn how to do stuff, do it with your family. Your nails and all of that. Don't invest about clothes and that superficial thing about wanting to impress people, because it really makes no sense. So try to get an education. I know not everybody is into academics, but even if you're not, I think skills do very, very well. When I do the maths, I see that the people with skills actually make more money than the people that work in 8 to 4
all
for
day,
a company. and then you can make money every day.
Mm-hmm.
You can do so many things. You can upscale your business. So I would just like to encourage you to invest in yourself, invest in your education,
Mm-hmm.
and invest in your well-being. I know we like fast food, but we have to be very, very careful with that
Mm-hmm.
because you're not too young to get high cholesterol and high blood pressure.
Right.
So that is my encouragement to the young people. Buy a piece of land if you get the opportunity. So you save your money, try to have a deposit,
Mm-hmm.
put some money aside, do not touch it, keep focused on what it is you want to achieve. And then once the opportunity presents itself, try to obtain a piece of land. And it doesn't have to be an acre of land. It doesn't have
Right,
to be
yeah.
10,000 square feet. I mean, I have a property on a 3,000 square feet and it's big enough.
Of course.
5,000, just buy something. And for those people that already have the land and they're thinking of building, there I would like to tell them, because what I see people doing, so they have their land, okay,
Mhm.
so you have a 5 or 10,000 square feet of land. And then they know what they want. They want a library, they want an office, they want a bedroom and another bedroom for if a guest come,
Mhm.
and in case they make a child or two, and they just want a big house.
A mansion.
So what they do, they somebody sketch it out for them, and then they get the estimate of what it will cost. And it's easily $1 million
Oh, yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Now, after that, they want to go to the financial institution and ask for $1 million. And I would like to encourage you, but that is not how it should be done. So if you have a piece of land, or even if you do not, based on your salary, the process should be based on your salary and your commitments. You take that to the financial institution,
Mm-hmm.
and you can cross-check NCCU and
Mhm.
other financial institutions. So you take it to them. So my salary is $4,000. These are my expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my salary and the expenses I present to you, how much money do I qualify for in terms of a mortgage?
Shama, I wish Matt was there because I would tell him to play a round of applause. I want to give you a standing ovation because
But it's like
true.
it's not getting through
Yes.
the people's head. You have to first find out how much money
Yes,
you qualify
correct.
for. It's not the other way
It's
around.
not the other way around.
In America, they have pre-approved mortgages and
Yes.
so on. So you would go, they would pre-approve you for $300,000. So you
Mhm.
know you're looking for a house within the $300,000 range. So if you're married, so two people, they're married, it doesn't mean you're making 5 and your husband making 5, that you have to go and take $10,000
You
and
should
try
not.
to put it into a mortgage.
Correct.
You try to live on one person's salary. So
Mhm.
free up one salary and you live on one person's
Mhm.
salary. So same thing, you go to the bank, you say that's the amount of money I'm making. How much do I qualify? So the bank will tell you, okay, based on your salary, you qualify for $300,000 or you qualify for $400,000. So you know now you're going to build something within that range. You get me?
Yeah.
So then you say, well, it's a 2-bedroom I can do for now.
That's what
Let
you
me do my
do.
2-bedroom,
Yes.
2-bathroom. Because now you almost have to think of $400 per square foot of house. So if you're doing a $1,000 square foot house, it's almost going to cost you $400,000 based on the location also.
Yes.
Based on your builder and based on a lot of other things.
Mhm.
But you almost have to mentally start thinking $400 per square foot.
Yeah.
A 1,000 square foot of house is going to give you like 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms on average. So if it's you, your husband, and a child, that's okay.
Of course it
You
is.
can do that for now. And then later on, if the situation changes, then you
Mhm.
can expand.
Mhm.
You build your house in such a way that you can expand it later. You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
So that is what I would really like to put out there for people. You don't have to, even though everybody have upstairs and downstairs around you, it's okay. Maybe they can afford the upstairs and downstairs. Because what we see happening is that, okay, husband and wife, you're married. But things happen. Divorce is real.
Mhm.
People grow apart, people go apart, whatever it is. Now you come to a situation where you have to separate.
Mhm.
But because you did the combined income and you have such a huge house and the payback is so much, neither of you can buy out,
Can buy
the,
out the
other
other. Right.
to be able to own that house and to
Mhm.
at least keep the children in the same house or whatever
Mhm.
it is. So you know what happens? We have to end up selling the house paying off the bank, and at the end of the day, we might get $100,000
if we get something.
If we get $100,000 each, we might,
Might.
or we might get $50,000 each.
yeah.
But it's like we're starting right back
Mhm.
again from scratch.
Mhm.
The $50,000 might get you another piece of land, but you're really starting back from scratch. And don't talk about you hurt and you depressed. You know, it's a
Which is
a
another
broken relationship.
which then is another part of health and wellness
Right.
again that's
And
been
don't talk about
attacked.
the cost,
Yes.
the cost of having to pay a lawyer because for some reason,
Right.
people get married.
Peace of mind.
And at the end of the day, when the relationship is not working, for some reason, they just kind of talk to each other.
Yes.
And I always
Which is
say,
very interesting,
if I
you know.
had to separate, well, unless the other person say, I don't want to talk to you, Shema, talk to my lawyer, I'd be like, oh boy. But I will go and speak to the lawyer myself because it's too much money.
It's a lot.
And I mean, I love my lawyers, but it's too much
It's a
money.
lot,
Get
yeah.
somebody that can mediate and have a conversation, what it is you're looking for, what you think you're worth, based on your contribution. Instead of you paying the lawyer $5,000, the other party paying their lawyer $5,000. That's $10,000 gone down.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I'd like to see more mediation when you have issues, financial issues, and so get somebody that you can speak to.
And interestingly enough, too, before it even gets to that point, if that conversation and that mediation and that communication was going on, we could avoid it, you know, because many relationships break because of finances.
Right.
You know, we
Right.
don't know anything. And this is another point that we want to bring in from our perspective is not just ladies, but because we do have some gentlemen in that, but predominantly ladies. Know what is going on with the finances of your
Yes,
home,
yes,
please.
both sides.
Both sides.
Both sides.
Please. Yes, please
we
know
have
what is
to.
going on with the money that is being used, that's being used to pay things, that's being used to circulate, whatever it is. Don't say, my wife is an accountant. She'll handle that. My husband works in the bank.
bank,
He
he
works
will
at the
take care
credit
of
union.
it.
He works with
Yeah.
Shoma at ECCB. They okay. We good. We
Yeah.
good. Then
So
you
things
find
can
out,
change
yes,
and
then you
get
find out
surprised.
some bills were never paid. Then you find out the savings missing a chunk
Yeah.
from it. You're not
Yeah.
even a beneficiary on an account.
Okay then.
So there's
You
a
have
lot.
it.
So we always like to make sure we say in relationships, both parties need to be aware of what is going on. There will always be one who maybe knows more.
Right. And then
Because
you
it might
share
be
the
your job
information.
to know those things. So
Right,
that's fine.
right.
But you have to know what is going on. You cannot just be sitting there in the dark, blind to everything.
Right.
And then when, as we say, things hit the fan, then you're stumped.
And then imagine having a GP and you broke. I mean,
Shoma, that is mental health crisis.
Thank you. So you're going to a third one now, like mentally, you just not in it.
So what happens when the man gives his entire salary?
Oh, you still have them now? Because if you still have them, I know some people say growing up, that's what. Yesterday, we were on the beach having that discussion, and two of the people there.
Time is of the essence.
Yes.
So you do that discussion. But sure was gonna talk.
No, but Matt is a dangerous person because time is of the essence and you're throwing that in there now.
You still have them. That's good.
But yes, time definitely has flown by. It has been so good talking to you, Shoma. Just because we want our people to be financially healthy. And as we said, it's the base of everything else. It is the platform, the pillar, the foundation for your health overall. And this is why we are doing this. We are doing 5 shows, 5 stations, and we are targeting every aspect. So please look onto our social media so you can see where we're heading to next and what topic we are going to have next. We will have a different guest talking about a different aspect of health overall. But we were very happy to be here with you at Q95. Thank you very much, Shoma, for coming on with us. We appreciate
Pleasure.
that.
Anytime, financial,
Yes.
social commentary, I'm willing.
Shoma is there for that. And
is.
I want to say to the members who send the messages to
About the
Matt
telephones?
about the phone. Yes, we received the information. So Matt did his work. He said on air that he was going to find me. I was found. So he did give the information. And of course, we have relayed the information and we understand the frustration that the members are going through with regards to getting to reach with us. When we had that situation before, this is why the Member Care Center was created. However, it has grown beyond, I think, the capacity now. So of course we have to make some additional changes to be able to deal with that. But I do want to encourage the members, please reach out to us via social media if you are ever in a situation where you don't get through via the telephone and you are able to send us an email. You can send an email to membercare@nccudominica.com or send us a message on social media. We will respond and we will take it from there.
Folks, it was a pleasure.
Yeah,
Always.
pleasure. Thank
Hi,
you,
my
NCCU.
friend.
Thank you
All
very much.
I was gonna say more,
Yeah, I know you want to say more.
But
For the
it's okay.
people who listen all the time, they know the dynamic between you two. I'm not even getting involved.
And my first child.
All we need is to be supported. When the baby's coming, business needs revamping, the new job started, and you need an outfit. Let momentum hook you up. Momentum will hook you up. The wedding's
Would you dance if I asked you to dance? Would you run, never look back? Would you cry if you saw me crying? Would you save my soul tonight? Would you tremble if I touch your lips? Would you laugh? Oh, please tell me this. Or would you die for the one you love? Hold me in your arms tonight. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can't take my breath away. Would you swear that you'll always be mine? Would you lie? Would you run and hide? Am I in too deep? If I lost my mind, I don't care, you're here tonight. I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away the pain. I will stand by you forever. You can't take my breath away.